Dwight D. Eisenhower.
When television first covered political conventions, the hidden world of politics was suddenly transformed into a national spectacle. It was theater and history, unfolding before the viewer's eyes.
It was drama all the way. You saw those platform fights, and you saw the dealing and the wheeling for delegates right in front of you live.
At the Republican Convention of 1952, Dwight Eisenhower ran the first made-for-TV campaign, with stars like Clark Gable in the spotlight.
Who has written the songs that all America loves to sing.
Eisenhower's supporters were enthusiastic and dynamic. His opponent, Robert Taft, an old-school politician, was convinced he could win by the old rules of backroom maneuverings.
The Taft people, who controlled both the Credentials Committee and the National Committee itself, decided to keep television away. They allowed reporters in, but not television cameras. And so television kept showing a picture of a closed door, and the symbol of the closed door became unbearable.
Senator Robert Taft made the fatal error of trying to seize control of the convention with the cameras rolling.
A steal was taking place, even if they didn't call it that. The public recognized, and the politicians recognized, and they also recognized that they couldn't go along anymore with closed door, back room, smoky room, getting the presidential nomination set in order so they could take it to the delegates. The whole public became aware of it.
The party organizers and backroom boys were being pushed aside by the television advisors.
I guess maybe it was there in '52 that you had to understand that a politician had to take command of the screen if he's going to get elected president, if he's going to persuade the country.
At the convention, Richard Nixon was Eisenhower's vice presidential candidate. He would use television to save his career. There were a number of newspaper stories that suggested that Nixon was involved in a scandal of receiving gifts from unnamed financial backers. There was talk that he would be dropped from the ticket.
My fellow Americans, I come before you tonight as a candidate for the vice presidency.
Nixon believed that the only way to put the scandal to rest was to talk directly to the American people in a television and radio address, go right over the heads of the newspaper reporters.
We did get something, a gift, after the election. You know what it was? It was a little Cocker Spaniel dog in a crate that he'd sent all the way from Texas. Black and white, spotted.
Nixon portrayed himself as the decent citizen who was standing up to his faceless enemies.
And our little girl, Tricia, the 6-year-old, named it Checkers. And you know, the kids, like all kids, love the dog. And I just want to say this right now, that regardless of what they say about it, we're going to keep it.
It was terribly corny, but it worked. It was mawkish, but he pulled all the stops out. And it was a very clever performance. Television saved him. Had it not been for that checkered speech, I think he would have gone down the drain. We might never have heard from Nixon again.
Television was more effective as an image-making tool than as an instrument to reform politics.
We dreamed, for example, that only the best candidates would rise to the surface because the public would be able to see through the charlatans, and they'd be able to expose the candidate for, warts and everything. We dreamed that sloganeering and any kind of falsity in advertising would be eliminated, but it didn't come off that way.